In this Tech Talk, I am discussing egg replacer functionality with Sascha Weiss, research and commercialization chef at Perfect Day Foods. Hi, Sascha. Thanks for joining me today.
Sure. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So, I am really interested in this topic because there's a lot going on here with eggs and the need for egg replacers. So, I'm going to dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is kind of the same old story that we've been talking about. Commercial bakers have been struggling with supply chain issues for about 2 years now, at least. And they're chasing down hard to obtain raw materials. And one of those is eggs. So can you just first sort of walk me through what exactly is going on in the egg market right now?
Sure. So we've been following this really closely. There have been a number of avian flu outbreaks, and particularly recently in 2022, there was just an enormous one that ended up driving egg prices to historic levels. We heard from some bakers that we know and some bakeries that they were seeing egg prices increase 4 to 5 times over what they were a year prior. And the egg prices continue to increase, unfortunately, because of these bird flu outbreaks. A number of states are having changing regulations around cage-free eggs, which is also driving up egg prices.
Right. So one solution is egg replacers, and it's been viable for a long time for commercial bakers. So this is a space that Perfect Day plays in. Can you talk about how Perfect Day egg replacers are able to help bakers alleviate some of these supply chain issues?
Yeah. So what Perfect Day has figured out is that our protein is really functional when used as a whole egg replacer. And what I mean by that is we can replace whole eggs in a number of different baked goods, from cookies to cakes to muffins to quick breads. And since it's a powder, it's also shelf stable.
So you listed several products. Can you just tell me, I'm curious, are there certain products or certain product types that lend themselves better to working with egg replacers?
That's a great question. Again, we've had the most success with recipes that call for whole eggs. Really, any of those items, our egg replacer can work quite well in.
Okay. So traditionally, egg replacers, while they are a viable option, they have not been without their challenges. And you have a lot of culinary experience in your background. You're a research chef. You come from that culinary background. So, in your years of experience, what are some of those general pitfalls that commercial bakers need to be aware of and avoid when they're reformulating for an egg replacer?
I would say, I guess taking a step back, thinking about some of the egg replacers that I have had the opportunity to work with, a lot of them really miss out on the texture that eggs bring to baked goods. And something that has always impressed me about the egg replacer that Perfect Day has is it's really driven by our protein, and our protein is really highly functional, which many other proteins are not. And through that functionality, it has incredibly strong gelling and foaming capacity. And in my experience, those really add to creating a really fine texture and crumb in baked goods. And that's something that I often find is lacking in other commercial egg replacers that I've worked with.
Okay. So you mentioned function, and functionality is a big part of what Perfect Day egg replacers can solve for. So can you talk a little bit about some of those functionality benefits that come with Perfect Day egg replacers?
Yes. I'd be glad to. Again, since our protein is really highly functional, and when it's used as an egg replacer, what it's going to do is it has really strong gelling properties, which will help, as your baked good bakes, it will really just help everything set. And it has really great foaming capacity. So that will really help with the rise. That being said, you will still need to use a chemical leavener along with the egg replacer. But those are some of the functions. Again, since the protein is so highly functional, we feel it really helps yield a really nice crumb, which we think is often lacking from other egg replacers.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. And with that functionality, what is it about Perfect Day egg replacers in, I guess, how they're made that sort of sets them apart?
Again, I think it really comes back to the functionality of our protein because it is so highly functional as compared to a number of other proteins that are often used in egg replacers. It really helps with that gelling and structure. Again, also since it's a powder, it's shelf stable. It's very easy to use. There aren't the concerns of refrigeration or potential food safety concerns with shell eggs. And since it is a powder, what we would recommend to bakers when they're going to use it is just to add that powder in with any other dry ingredients that are in the recipe.
Okay, you're reading my mind. That was my next question is sort of what are the key points that bakers need to think about when they're reformulating with a perfect day egg replacer as far as how and when it's added, that substitution rate, what do they need to be aware of when they're looking at that reformulation?
So as a general rule, we would suggest starting with 2 parts water to 1 part perfect day egg replacer by weight of your whole liquid eggs, and adding any extra water into your liquid ingredients. It could be milk. It could be, if you had a fruit juice or something else in your formula, just as long as you're increasing the liquid to make up the difference of those eggs, and then adding the powder in with the dries, with the flour, sugar, or any other dry ingredients that are in your formula.
Okay, great. And do you do a lot of work with sort of troubleshooting with your customers when they're trying to reformulate?
Yes, we do. We're really, we're open to offering as much tech support as possible. If somebody wanted to formulate with our recipes, they could, start out with a phone call. Happy to do R&D on our side. We also have application sheets and application guides and sort of starter formula recipes that we'll always send out with samples to get people up and running.
That's awesome. So then, what is the best way for a baker to get in touch with you to kind of get that conversation started?
I would say visit our website at perfectday.com, and there's a contact us page link on the website, and please follow that, and we'll get right back in touch with you and send out samples and tech sheets and go from there.
All right. Well, Sascha, those are all my questions. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to me about this really critical issue that's going on in the commercial bakery market right now.
Great. My pleasure. It's really, really great to speak with you.